Now, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar held discussions with the American Secretary of State Marco Rubio, covering issues of trade, critical minerals, nuclear cooperation, defense and energy. Now, both sides decided to remain in touch on these important bilateral issues. Now, the Indian External Affairs Minister described the talks with Marco Rubio as a very good conversation in a social media post on X. The discussions revolved around a range of bilateral and strategic issues. Now, the call comes amidst heightened tensions between New Delhi and Washington over trade deal and tariffs imposed by the American President Donald Trump over Russian oil purchases. The talks have also come just a day after the new envoy to India, Sergio Gore, said that no country is as essential for Washington as India, indicating that both sides are working to firm up a trade deal. Now, Sergio Gore, in his arrival speech in New Delhi, said that both governments are actively engaged in finalizing a trade agreement while also working together on security, counterterrorism, energy, technology, education and health. He described the relationship as one where real friends can disagree but also resolve their differences, referring to the equation between the Indian Prime Minister and the American President Donald Trump. All right, now joining us on the broadcast, we've got WION's Assistant Editor for Foreign Affairs, Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant, this is a crucial conversation which the Indian Foreign Minister has had with Marco Rubio. Tell us more.
Secretary Rubio, External Affairs Minister, with all the trade tensions between the two countries.
And with my colleague Siddhant Sibal there, we'll try to reconnect with him again. But remember, India and the United States have been working overtime in order to arrive at a trade deal. We've heard a number of very interesting things from the American President Donald Trump and also from other members of his administration. And now the Indian Foreign Minister has held a conversation with Marco Rubio. I'm told that my colleague Siddhant Sibal is with us. Siddhant, if you're able to hear me, this is a crucial conversation that's been held between Marco Rubio and India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar. Tell us more.
Well, yes, a very key conversation in which the focus was on the trade talks, on India passing a key bill for civil nuclear energy for which the private participation is open, and the American side is very keen on the participation of American private companies. In fact, the American readout has the opening and a major para on this key development. But essentially, we know that this conversation is seen as key in terms of how both sides can work together to find convergences. Both sides plan to meet very soon, the details of which is being discussed. In fact, a few minutes ago, we saw the ambassador to India, the US ambassador to India, Sergio Gore, presenting his credentials to the Indian president. He, of course, in an important statement on Monday, outlined his vision as he takes charge here in Delhi and talked about as to how both sides are engaged on trades. In fact, he had said that there will be a call on this issue, and that happened with the Indian External Affairs Minister and the American counterpart holding talks. But there are challenges in this relationship, and trade remains one of the key challenges. With no trade deal happening last year, the focus for the policy makers will be to make sure a trade deal happens this year. There's also, of course, the big meeting that is awaited between the Indian Prime Minister and the US President Donald Trump. How it will happen and where it will happen is also the big story of this year. But focus all throughout the year will be on making sure that the relationship gets to achieve a semblance. We saw how last year was a free fall in the relationship with the US President Donald Trump announcing the tariffs on India.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Siddhant Sibal, for joining us with all those updates then.